Hello, and in today's video we're doing something rather special for you. We're going to be dealing with the Ecpe speaking exam, but what I'm going to be doing with a colleague of mine is actually running through this example of a school trip so you can see how we tackle it. So before we get to that though, let's recap exactly what's happening. Okay, so we've just finished stage 2 where we summarized our two options to each other, and we took notes on each other's options. The examiner asked us then to choose one of our own options. I have chosen the mall, and my partner Sophie has chosen the forest park as a destination for the school trip. So, the task here. The examiner will say to us at the beginning of part 3, in this stage, I would like you to compare and contrast your two options and come to a decision as to which option would be the best for the school trip. So before we start, let's remember some key points to part 3 of the exam. So you've each got, remember, your 6 positive points and your 1 disadvantage. You've got 2 options, so we should be comparing all of these points. Don't leave anything out. Try and make sure you're comparing all of them. Take your time when reaching a decision, so don't just say at the very start, well, I think this is the best option. You're meant to reach a decision by discussing it with your partner. That's the whole point of this. You still can't look at each other's notes. So remember, one of the options you will have typed notes, and the other you will have some handwritten notes, which you will be using. And I'll emphasize this again later on in the video. It's a pair working exercise, so you have to work together. It's all about pair work. Look at your partner during the stage as well. You'll find the examiner will usually turn their chair slightly to the side, and you're meant to be, because it's pair work, you're meant to be dealing with your partner. Okay, so here are our 2 options. So Sophie will be joining me now.
Hello.
Hi Sophie. So again, this is a little bit confusing because you can see both the options typed out. Again, in the exam it won't be like this, because for example I'll have the mall and I'll have the forest written down here, whereas Sophie will have the forest and then she'll have the mall like this. Okay, so just remember that. So what we're going to do now is we are actually going to attempt this scenario, and then afterwards there's actually going to be the same scenario but a written script between 2 candidates, so you can read through it yourself and see how it's done. Alright, so shall we start?
Yes, let's start.
Alright, so shall I start or would you like to?
It's okay, you can go first if you like.
Alright, I think we should talk about how we're going to get to these places first of all. I can see in the mall it's only a half an hour bus journey, so I think this is actually really good because it's not a lot of time to be on a bus. The students won't get bored, and I think it means that we'll have a lot more time at our destination. And to be honest, from the notes of the forest park as well, it's only 45 minutes and it's bus journey. So in this respect, I don't really think there's much difference between the options. What do you think?
I definitely agree with you. I mean, whether it's half an hour, 45 minutes, it's not really such a long journey. And to be honest, I mean, young people do enjoy the bus journeys anyway. So they always make lots of noise and sing and make sure they give the teachers headaches. So I think they'll definitely enjoy that.
Yeah.
Well, the other point that is pretty interesting in the mall is the 300 shops. I was definitely impressed with that. I think students will just be stunned by the sheer number of variety they're going to find. What do you think?
Yeah, definitely. I think this is a win-win here. With so many shops, there's going to be shops, for everyone, sports shops, lots of clothes shops, and I can see here there's even a large cinema if they want to watch a film as well. Whereas when we the forest park, it's more out in the natural environment. There's a beautiful environment. I can see there's also guided tours. Although I think this is actually quite nice. I like the fact that there's guided tours. It's a school trip, and if they have a guide, I think they're going to learn a lot about the natural environment.
Well, to be honest, this is the thing. I mean, the forest park is a completely, different type of excursion. It's definitely more educational. Through the guided tours, they're going to learn a lot about nature, maybe even get some help for their school projects in physics, on the environment in general. Plus, they'll get the chance to see some beautiful places. The landscapes are fantastic, apparently, so they'll be able to shoot lots of photographs, post them on Instagram, show it to the friends. So I think they'll still enjoy that, although it's a different type of excursion.
I do think, though, that I can see from my notes here that they're doing walks and things like that, and I don't really think such activities are very popular, especially with teenagers.
Well, I think they would address a specific type of teenager. I think, athletic types or people who just love nature would definitely go for something like that. But we have to face the fact that some students don't really like that kind of thing. But I'm not sure if we should make our choice depending on that. Maybe it's still good for them. I mean, being outside in a forest, it's still good, and they'll see a wide variety of flora and fauna, which will be, again, very impressive for them.
Another thing I like about the mall, however, is the fact that it's got all the eating facilities there. I can see it's got restaurants and cafes, and I think for a school trip this is something that is extremely important, because the kids are going to get hungry around lunchtime and they're going to need food pretty quick, and the fact that they've got a wide variety of places to go to is really good.
Yeah, definitely it's going to make things easier for the trip itself. The book exhibition sounds fantastic. Again, it addresses a specific type of teenager, I think. Some people will enjoy it, some people won't.
It will be educational.
It will be educational, definitely, and you encourage them to visit places like this, Apart from that, I think in terms of pricing, I think for sure the forest park will be a little bit more, it'll be inexpensive. Let's put it that way. I mean, we have a £5 ticket that they have to pay, and let's face it, they're not going to really be spending much money there. Whereas in a mall, I kind of think that, I don't know, what do you think?
Yeah, no, I completely agree with you on this point. I mean, £5 is nothing. They're all going to be able to afford that. It's very economical, whereas the mall, okay, they can bring £5 if they want, but let's face it, they're going to be a lot more than that if they're in the mall. In fact, that's something I never really thought of. If they don't have enough money, they're not really going to enjoy it, especially if their friends say have a lot more than them. It'll actually become a big issue. Let's have a look at the disadvantages, shall we? With the mall, there's some crime that we have to be careful. I don't really think this is going to be a problem, because I think nowadays in all major towns and cities, crime is a problem, pickpockets, and like the metro. Students are used to dealing with these kind of things, and as long as we warn them, I don't think it's going to be a problem.
To be honest, the only serious issue I can predict in this kind of disadvantage is not the students. I think the students are going to be careful. They're not going to be worried. I think parents might, express some kind of concern about this. So I think as long as we get some kind of approval from the parents that they know this and they understand this and they're fine with it, I think that'll be okay. It's something manageable. As far as okay. So.
What about the disadvantage of the forest park?
Well, this could raise the price, you see. This is something I never thought about earlier as well. This can also become a kind of issue because the school may be able to provide some of the equipment, but again, I think that people are going to have to spend money, and that again might go down.
Yeah, I think you're exactly right here. I mean, they don't want to be spending extra money on extra things. It won't be popular.
Another opposition parents might have is the whole forest thing, allergies, because...
Okay, so which one of these options do you prefer then?
Well, to be honest, they both sound fascinating to me. I would love to go to both places, but I think despite the cost that the mall has, I think, to be honest, everyone's going to enjoy it. I'm inclined to go there, but I'm not sure if you agree.
Yeah, no, I do. I think the forest park is a lot more educational, and I really like that side of it, but I really don't like the disadvantage. I think that's going to be a major problem. So I think the mall is the safest option for us to choose.
Yeah, I'm going to go for that. So.
Okay, so we think the mall is the best place for the school trip. Okay, so that was a run through of part 3. So now what we're going to do here is you can see the two options, and what one student says is going to be in yellow and the other student is going to be in black. Okay, so you've heard us do it, so I'm just going to kind of skip through these screens, and you can kind of pause it and read it, and it will give you an idea of maybe how to approach it. Okay, and there's a few of them as you can see. Okay. Wow, big conversation. Okay, so thank you very, very much for watching this video. For those of you who are taking your speaking exam in the next week or two, good luck. I'm sure you do really, really well. I hope this video helps you visualize what you're going to be going through. It's actually really good fun. We love it. If you want some help with your writing, there's another video here to boost your writing tips. And of course, if you want private help, you can book one-to-one Skype lessons with us. So, thank you very much for watching this video, guys. Bye for now.